Okay, where are you in now? Let's see here what you're typing. Okay. Okay, Cassie, I'd like to thank you for being here. Okay, thank you very much. Cassiana is going to talk about, like teaching young learners. It's a pleasure to have her here. But before she starts, I'd like to introduce her. Okay, Cassiana has been an ELT for over 20 years. She holds a degree in arts and a master philosophy degree in English language teaching from Trinity College in Dublin. She used it to work as a teacher in Brazil, as a childcare educator, and as a childcare educator in Dublin. Currently, she runs her own language school. So, Cassiana, the floor is yours. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
thank
and
you.
be
Thank you
welcome
very much.
here.
Thank you, Tati. Oh, hello, everyone. As Tati said, my name is Cassiana. It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome. I can see that some people from Belo Horizonte, São Paulo, São José do Rio Preto. It's a pleasure, as I said, and I hope everybody's doing well. Guys, it's a great pleasure taking part in this webinar organized by Disal. And I'm really honored to be invited by Tati Canto and Express Publishing to share a little bit of my experience by using one of their books called I Wonder, and to talk a little bit the projects I develop using the activities from the book and some storybooks as well. So on behalf of Express Publishing, I'd like to thank you all, and I really hope you have a very good webinar. So welcome, guys. Guys, to start, before I start the presentation, I have a few questions to ask you. Just, to start thinking about this topic and to understand how you feel about it as well. So if you can write, some answers, some contribution, feel free. And we can discuss them a little bit, and we start in a few minutes because some people are still, entering. So, guys, what is the biggest challenge for you when you plan a lesson? I have been a teacher for over 20 years now, and I love planning my lessons. And every time I plan them, I think about my students, if they're going to enjoy, if they're going to learn, if they're going to really develop, So for you guys, what is the biggest challenge for you? Because planning lessons can be very time consuming. Planning lessons that are very engaging can be even more time consuming, So how do you feel about that? Hello, guys from Bahia, from Belém do Pará. I love Bahia. I have been there a few times. Beautiful place. Another thing, guys, to consider, do you think planning lessons that are meaningful and engaging can be challenging? That's a question I always ask myself because, there are many types of lessons. You can plan a very simple one that's very engaging, but sometimes you can plan and think, about a lot of activities and students do not engage. So have you ever had the feeling that your lessons were not as joyful and meaningful as they could be? And that your students are not developing, especially their communication skills as they could? That's something I always ask myself, if I'm preparing engaging lessons, if they are really learning, if they are developing, if I am achieving my goals. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to think about, guys, it's have you ever stopped to think about it and try to understand the reasons behind it? And when I say that you are preparing classes that are challenging, you are preparing classes that are meaningful, but sometimes the students are not, engaging. Why is this happening? And to finish, guys, have you ever felt the need to adapt the course books? I think it's something that happens to me a lot because of the reality of my students. I'm from Igrejinha in Rio Grande do Sul, which is a small city. So my question for you is that if you have you ever felt the need to adapt the course book activities to develop projects to better fit the students' reality and needs, and also their wants? I can see that some people are saying sure, and I think it's something that we all, face. And finally, guys, something to think about if you really know your students' needs and wants, because this is something. Sometimes we know the students because we go to class, we interact with them like for 1-2 hours, and that's it. But we don't really know what they like, who they are, and what they really want. So now, guys, good afternoon from Campinas. Hello, guys. So today, guys, thank you. I could see some people answer that. I'm going to share some ideas on how to create lessons that focus on the development of young learners, guys, communicative skills through using activities from the course book and some projects. And I'm going to focus on one model specifically, which is I Wonder Book Starter, module Hello, the first unit. And I'm going to share with you some ideas, some tips, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to share the slides now, guys, and start the presentation. Just a second, guys. There you go. Okay, guys, can you see the slides? Is everything okay? Just let me know if you can see them. I hope so. Yes, perfect. So let's start. Guys, as I said before, welcome, and I wish you have a good webinar. The topic of my webinar is boosting young learners' engagement, as I said a few minutes ago, through course book activities and projects. And guys, the purpose of this webinar is to share some ideas on how to connect the course book. As I said, in this case, I'm going to talk about the I Wonder Starter. So how to connect the I Wonder Starter activities and a few projects in order to create more engaging and joyful lessons for young learners. And when I say young learners, I mean here children from 6 to 10. And I'm going to be referring to them as juniors. So before we go through the ideas and the tips, I'm going to tell you why I decided to talk about this topic and to share this with you. And to start that, it's important to know a little bit of the background to understand the reasons why I am here talking about this project. So, guys, as Tati Canto said before, I have been a teacher for over 20 years, but I am also a school owner, which is very challenging for me. So, the challenge of being a teacher, because as a teacher, I have always wanted to organize great classes for my students. I have always wanted to see their development. I wanted to see them, talking. I wanted to see their progress. So, as a school owner, I want those things to happen, I want them to keep learning, developing. But now I have to think about the students, the teachers, the parents. So it's a little bit more challenging. I am still a teacher. I have a few groups. I teach juniors, kids, adults, but I'm also, running the school. I'm behind the scenes trying to organize everything and helping, teachers to feel comfortable, students to feel happy, parents to feel, that they are paying for a course and it's worth their money, it's worth. So there are many things involved here. So what I observed, guys, especially after pandemic, when they came back from pandemic, I could observe that some students were not that happy anymore. And as I said before, I'm going to call them juniors. So mainly a group from 7, 8, let's say 9 years old. So some of the students were not very happy when they came back. And of course, we understand why. But they complain a lot about the classes. About the homework, they didn't want to do anything extra class. When we were talking about homework, it was like terrible. They did not want to copy from the board. Sometimes we were like writing a few sentences and they didn't want to copy that. Not to mention the test day, because we used to have tests. We used to test students who were like from 8 years old, on. So after observing that, I started to questioning myself, because the students were not very happy. They did not want to copy. They didn't want to come to school. The teachers were really having a hard time teaching. They were really having a hard time planning their lessons and dealing with the problems that I mentioned before. They had the feeling that they were focusing a lot on the course book. They were like, Teacher Cass, I don't know what's going on, but the feeling I have is that my class is not engaging, that the students are not happy, that they're not developing the way they should and the way they could. I have the feeling that I'm using all the time the course book and that I'm running out of ideas. So teachers were bringing those things, to me. Another thing that happened, guys, after pandemic, the parents, started to mention that the children, not all of them, but some of them, especially children from this group age, from 7, 8, 9, they didn't want to come to class anymore. And every time they had to sit down to do the homework, it was a nightmare. They didn't know what to do, even though we explained to them. They didn't want to do because they didn't want to sit down to have that time. Parents were very tired after a pandemic, and then they were facing this problem when students were having face-to-face class. So, a lot of complaints at the same time from teachers, from students, from parents. Basically, the students were not happy as they used to be. Just a second, guys, just moving here. What I did, guys, as well, as I was observing that the students were having a hard time to do their homework and parents were complaining a lot about it, I had a brilliant idea. At least I thought it was a brilliant idea. I was like, okay, the ones who are having trouble doing the homework at home, I invited them to come to school 1 extra hour per week so they could have an extra hour with a teacher who would help them to do their homework. At the beginning, I was like, wow, I had a brilliant idea. I'm offering a new product. I'm offering something to solve parents' problems. That was my thought at first. But after a few weeks, guys, I realized that I was, having more than one student. I have like 3, 4 students coming to class, 1 extra hour per week to do their homework. And then I gave a step back and I was like, am I really offering an extra service? I started to questioning that. Or am I failing somewhere? And when I say I am failing somewhere, I'm talking about me as a school. Was everything going wrong? Something like that, you start to think and question yourself. So I realized that I was not offering an extra service, but that something was wrong, because if the students were not able to do their activities at home, something was not right. And then, guys, I started to think and find ways to solve the problems. I talked to parents, I talked to children, I talked to teachers, and I started to understand that the way we were teaching wasn't the right, the proper way for them anymore, because they change in a very fast pace. One day they like one thing, the other day they don't. One day they watch a lot of things on TV, the other day they don't even want to watch those things anymore. One day they play a game, the other day they play a different one. So they are changing very fast. And they are not the same students as they were before pandemic. They were not the same students they were when we were, teenagers, let's say. So we need to change that. And changing the junior course, as I said before, the students from 6 to 10, the structure of the course became mandatory and became more important than ever. But I want to go back here. Was everything going wrong? No, not at all. When I look at the structure of our kids' course from 3 to 5, I can see that everything works well. So I looked at that and I took all the things that were working very well, especially projects connecting to course book activities and exercises, and I used them to change the junior course. Then, guys, this is the background, this is the situation, and now I'm going to tell you, let the change begin. What we did, guys, first. First of all, in order to make relevant and significant changes, it is necessary to, first of all, understand the problem. So I told you about the problem. Then have a clear idea of who we really are and in what methodologies we believe as English teachers and as a school. So it was one of the first things. I understood the problem. I talked to parents, to teachers, to students. I understood their needs. I saw it was necessary to change. And then I hired a consultant, Tati Canto, by the way. She's doing a great job. And we talked a lot about it. And one of the first questions she asked me was, who are you as a school? In what methodologies you believe as an English teacher and as a school? And then we started from there. Guys, many changes happened. The first one was the course book. So we started to use the collection I Wonder from Express Publishing, which is a very good book. It gives some room for us to adapt activities. It is very communicative. I can see that every lesson I can explore, every activity I can explore. I can ask a lot of questions to students. They interact, and yes, they interact in English. And they have one of the groups, they have been with me for like 10 weeks. And the class is basically in English. They are interacting. And when the time to come home comes, they are like, I don't want to go home. I want to stay. So the change started last year in December. And I could see how good it was. And it has been. So guys, the course book was changed. We started to use I Wonder. It's American edition. We decided to go for American edition here. And they introduced learners to the English language through a wide variety of communicative activities and stories and songs, chants that can be easily adapted to better meet the students' needs. And guys, we started to use the book. We have the student book, the pupils book. We have the workbook as well. And we have been using the Express Digibooks platform ever since February. Yeah, we had meetings with parents, we had meetings with teachers, with students. We explained exactly what they have to do. We wrote down some notes so students and parents could follow. We enrolled them in the platform. We did everything, and they are using and they love it. Just to give an idea, this week I told the students, guys, we don't have anything for homework. Oh, teacher, no homework. And I said, okay, so I'm going to give you something for you to do online. And they were super happy with that, which is very good. So we were like, I don't want to do homework. I don't want to go to school anymore, to, yes, I want homework. So it's a big change. And then, guys, we are also using the app because Express Publishing, I Wonder app is very good. It's like a 3D. You can scan the books, pictures. We have Rolla, which is the character. So you scan it and it becomes, alive. And it's amazing, guys. So it was the first change. But we had a lot of things, to go through. Then, guys, the second thing, we changed the class routine. Why? One thing that I remember very well. Teacher, I don't want to copy the routine from the board. 3 lines, and they didn't want to copy that. And one day, Tati asked me, Cassie, copy the routine is part of your objectives? And when she said that, I realized that no, copy the routine from the board is not or was not part of the objectives of the class. So why I was doing that? and we stopped. So guys, the routine is really organized. We have the part where we welcome the students. We have activities, to make them feel comfortable to start the class. We have warm-up activities. We have the question of the day or the question of the week. We also develop the classes. The activities are very communicative. They play a lot. They sit on the floor. They go to the garden. And the homework, guys, also changed because we still give them homework, but we are looking at that from a different perspective. For example, every time they have homework to do, I ask them, guys, open your book to page blah, blah, blah. Look at that activity. What do you have to do here? They tell me what they have to do. I don't tell them what they have to do. And it's working perfectly well. They also stick a post-it on that page so they don't forget. And basically everybody's doing online on the book and they are very happy. And I am very happy too because I can see the development, and the way they are improving. It's also important, guys, to mention this as well, that clear steps were added to the routine in order to make it easy to follow. So every teacher was trained, they have it structured, everybody follows the same routine. And also, guys, to create an enjoyable atmosphere that fosters communication. And it's working very well, and I'm very happy with the results. We also, guys, changed the lesson plans, right? The lesson plans now are very communicative. We look at the unit that we are going to teach, and you think about the objectives we want the students to achieve, and we create activities, we take activities from the book, we adapt them if necessary, we develop them, we use all the resources that we have to make students speak, talk, develop, and achieve our goals. So the lesson plans are basically focused on the goals we have and what activities we are gonna do to achieve them. The next step, as I said, guys, was to develop the lesson plans, and the next step was to develop the language objectives that are connected. So the language objectives, I think this was the hardest part for some of my teachers because it's totally different. It's a different way to look at the way you teach, but I believe it works very well and I can see the results. So guys, language objectives are lesson objectives that specifically outline the type of language that students will need to learn and use in order to accomplish the goals of the lesson. This is it. I have goals, I have communicative goals, I have different goals, and what type of objectives I have, what type of activities and tasks I'm going to create in order to achieve those objectives. Also, guys, when the lesson objectives are clear in terms of language outcomes, the teachers have a better chance of selecting the most appropriate content and teaching tactics. Guys, I can see that some people are asking questions. I am going to talk to you. I'm going to answer the questions by the end. But yes, the students buy the book. Each student has their own book, the workbook and the student book, and we use the books during a year. So guys, I just want to summarize this. When you have clear objectives, you know where you want to go. And if you know where you want to go, you are going to develop activities to achieve your goals. When you don't have objectives to achieve, anywhere is fine. So you create an activity here, an activity there, but they don't connect. And sometimes you don't achieve your objectives the way you should and you could. Also, guys, it's important to mention the teamwork. It's impossible to work alone. So everything I did at school, I did with parents, with students, and with teachers. If we were not a team, if we weren't a team, things wouldn't have worked. So we have a team, we sit down, we talk, we do things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, then we change. because it has been like not even a year that we have, doing these changes. But I can tell you that without the team, things don't work. The learning process will be enjoyable and meaningful for everyone if the teachers, the parents, and the students are all engaged. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And guys, finally, I'm going to start talking about the projects. So the projects, and I wrote down what we as teachers from Be Fluent believe a project is. So we see projects as a teaching method that organizes learning and studying around different activities that connect the students' interests, their course book, and storybooks in order to create a meaningful and joyful learning atmosphere. Moreover, projects are seen as extended tasks which usually integrate language skills through a number of activities. When you go through the definition of project-based learning, you are going to find a lot of things. But what we believe is this. We have a lot of storybooks, books that the students love, books that bring a lot of, opportunities to explore the language. And why not to connect them with our course book? Why not to do something different with them? And it's so wonderful when the end of the class comes and they say, "Oh no, teacher, it's finished." And you can see that they are really there, that they enjoy, and that they count the days to come back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about storybooks and course books. Storybooks are great and valuable sources for English lessons, as I said before. They are fun, they are enjoyable, and they offer numerous possibilities for teaching English. Within each scene, there are new words and topics that can be explored by students in a very nice, fun way. Besides, guys, the course books, they bring a great variety of activities that, it's very important to mention here, to highlight, that were carefully planned to help the students and the teachers practice the new language in a fun and communicative way. So I would say that the combination of both is just perfect, and the results prove that. Guys, I'm going to talk now about the project itself, one of them, because we have developed many. We developed project on Brown Bear, what do you see? We have projects about Pinkalicious. We have many, Jack and the Beanstalk, Goldilocks, and every time we connect with the course book, and the results are amazing. So guys, the project itself, I'm going to explain to you the steps, how we started, and I'm going to show you a few lessons I planned, what I did during the class, and what I asked the students to do for homework, and how I connected everything. It's impossible to show the entire project because it has like 7 classes, and we don't have time for everything. But by the end, I'm going to show you the final products so you can see, and one of the moms' feedback as well. So you can see the result, the positive result, I would say. So the project. The steps of a project that was developed by connecting some activities from the book I Wonder started from Express Publishing, and the storybook Brown Bear, what do you see will be explained now. Just one thing, guys, I Wonder started the first module, the Hello unit, okay? That's the first one that I started to work with that unit and with the project together. This is the book, as you saw before, the cover. And this is the cover of the book Brown Bear. Believe that was written in 1967. I was shocked, and it's amazing. So before starting the project, we sit down with the course book and the storybook. And we go flicking through the pages and observing, guys, everything that we can cover. So here we have some of the topics. Numbers from 1 to 10, because I can connect the numbers here, and the course book. Colors, we have many colors. We have blue, black, brown, green, purple, pink. And I also worked with color shades. So I told the students how to say dark green, light green, because I think it's very important for them and they can do that. We covered a lot of animals. One thing that can be done, if the course book has a unit about animals, you can connect that unit too. In this case, I focused on the hello unit and basic on numbers and colors, but I brought my topics as well. I added more topics. Adjective order, they don't know that we're talking about adjective order, but they are using, because they say, brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Pronouns, because we ask them, what's this? Showing them by a picture of an animal, for example, and they are going to say, it's a bird. Is it a bird? Yes. What color is this bird? It's a red bird. And they do it perfectly. We worked with some verbs, especially the verb see. Yes. What can you see? Articles. What's that? It's a brown bear. It's an orange. So we are using the articles. They don't need to know that they're using that, but they are using, and they are using correctly. Sizes, we explored the sizes like small, medium, big, tiny, huge. And we also explored kinds of bears. So I connected the story, I connected the course book, and something from the reality as well. When I mean reality, I check types of bear, what food they eat, if they are or not endangered, and I work that with them. So we know the topics that we want to cover. Now, guys, we need to know what our language objectives, and we need to look at the topics and what we're going to do to achieve the objectives. These are the objectives. For example, I want my students to be able to say, what do you see? I want them to do that. Teacher, what do you see? Teacher, what do I see? I don't know. John, what do you see? I see a blue horse looking at me. I see a teacher looking at me. I see my friend looking at me. So it was very important for me that they had those structures consolidated. What's your favorite color? I want them to learn that structure. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is. So they interviewed each other. They talked to me. I asked them. I checked their memory. I was like, what is Melissa's favorite color, for example, So to see if they were paying attention. They were very curious to know how to say dark blue, light blue. So we used that a lot and with a lot of colors. Another thing I want them to be able to use was, what's your favorite animal? My favorite animal is. More language objectives. What's your favorite bear? My favorite bear is. We talked about polar bear, brown bear, black bear, and panda bear. What's it? I mentioned before, it's a dark brown bear. Is it small, medium, or big? And also the numbers, how many animals can you see? I can see 5 animals. Things like that. Okay. Just a second. Just moving here, guys. And then also, it's very important to know where you are and where you want to go. And I wanted to finish the project with final products. So we created the book and we created 2 videos. And we are going to have a presentation now in December. So parents are coming to school to watch their kids. It's going to be a role play. And we are going to have a presentation at our party as well, because we always have a graduation party for our students and invite everybody to attend. So they're going to present. Guys, you might be thinking, how does she organize that class? I organized the class in 2 moments. So I wrote here, 1 class, 2 moments. The first part of the class, the routine, we start with the routine, and then we use the course book and we do a lot of activities. And the second part of the class, we go to the storybook. And then we focus on that, we connect activities and so on and so forth. And usually during 7 weeks, and sometimes we need more if there is, a holiday or something like that. But in 7 weeks, we have enough time to do that. So guys, let's start. I'm going to show you now the classes. Let's start talking about the classes actually. Class number 1. First part of the class, I wonder start the hello unit. So we use the book. And we started, guys, with a warm-up activity to talk about colors. I always believe we need to know what our students know, the knowledge they have. We need to know where they come from, their background, if they are in touch with English, if they have any previous knowledge. We need to know that. So I always have warm-up activities, and then I can find out where they are. For this activity, guys, I was asking students always sitting on the floor or in the garden. We are always sitting in a very informal way where they feel, okay and comfortable to talk and to produce. So asking students to name the colors they know. So I asked them, what colors do you know, guys? Can you let me know? They were telling me a lot of colors. What is your favorite color? So they told me what their favorite color was. And actually, some of them had like 4 favorite colors. So we worked. I told them how to say that too. And after they told me their favorite colors, I played a game called How Good Your Memory Is. I asked them to stand up because they were all sitting on the floor. And because the next activity we were supposed to use the chairs, I asked them to stand up to take the chairs. But I did it in a different way. I asked them, for example, John, do you remember what is Melissa's favorite color? Blue. It's blue, John, because I always try to ask them to say it's blue. It's a blue chair, let's say. And he said, yes, it's blue. Melissa, is your favorite color blue? Yes, very good. And then, guys, John was going there, taking the blue chair and giving it to Melissa. So it was a way to involve them during the activity and to know how much they knew about colors and to test their memory as well. The second part, guys, then I started to use the poster that comes with I Wonder collection. And this is a poster with some popsicles. So I put it up on the board and I asked them to describe to me what they could see. And I asked them, guys, what can you see? Guys, what can you see? And the first thing I was like, do you know how to say picolé in English? No. Okay, so picolé, you can say ice lolly, popsicle. There are different ways, okay? So describe what you can see. I can see a green popsicle. I can see a blue popsicle. I can see a light pink popsicle, and so on and so forth. So we practice a lot. Then, guys, they listen, they point, they listen and repeat. I pointed and they told me the colors. They did an activity where they pointed to the colors on their books. We have a kind of worksheet, and they ask each other, what color is it? And we did a lot of activities, for them to practice. And we use different strategies as well to repeat. I was asking them to speak very loud. I was asking them to speak very low. I was asking them to clap hands, to stamp their feet. Many strategies, so they were always involved, in a very active way. After doing that, guys, which was the warm-up activity, I started with the first activity from the book. I Wonder started page 6, exercise number 1. What we have here, guys? First of all, we have spaceships. Do they know how to say that? So what I did was, guys, describe what you can see. Teacher, I can see. Do you know how to say nave espacial in English? Describe the colors. Describe the colors of the spaceships. Describe the shades you can see. Elicit the numbers, because we have numbers here. Do you know how to say 1, 2? Do you know how to say 1, 2, 3? Do you know how to say that in English? So I was always doing those activities to involve them. Relate colors and numbers. What color is spaceship number 1? What number is spaceship number 4? That's a way I like to work, because I can make them talk a lot and they understand things, and the way they Evolve is amazing. And then, guys, after that, I played games, slap, invisible flashcards, colorful elephants, online games, many things. Finishing the first part of the class, guys, we started straight after that. Usually we have a break, and then we start after the break with the story. But you might be thinking, okay, she went straight to the book, she read the book, what she did? No, I didn't. I started with a warm-up activity, and I asked them if they knew how to say Ursus in English. I asked them if they like bears or not, if they are afraid of bears or not. I asked them what types of bears they knew. I was asking them many questions to know how much they knew and what language they could use. So I talked about the black bear, polar panda, and brown bears. We talked about where they live, what they eat, and if they are endangered or not. And they didn't know what the word endangered mean. So I explained to them, and they were like very sad because I told them that some of them unfortunately are. Then, guys, what we did, we had an interview. They interview each other. What's your favorite bear? Ah, my favorite bear is panda. My favorite bear is polar bear. My favorite bear is brown bear. And after that, we analyzed the answers. How many people like pandas? 3 people. How many people like brown bears? 1 person. And then we could work the numbers as well. And here I have a picture. I don't know if the quality is good. But they are sitting down. I am explaining to them what they have to do and giving them, because they were like sticking pictures of the bears. And after that, they stood up and they were interviewing their classmates. And it was very nice. And sometimes we think, they're not going to be able to do that. They are able. We just need to provide the support they need. They can do everything, but we need to provide the support. Guys, then after doing this activity, I started with the story. I showed them the book. I asked a lot of questions. Why do you think there is a bear on the cover? Why is this bear brown? What is the book about? And guys, believe me, most of the questions in English. Only a few questions I had to help them translate. Then, guys, I introduced the characters by using flashcards. I have some flashcards here, as you can see. And I was introducing them and asking them, what is it? It's a cat. What color is the cat? It's purple. And it's a purple cat. How big is it? Is it big, small? So I was talking to them the entire time. And only after that, I read the story. And here I have a picture as well. And I'm checking the time, and I'm going to hurry a little bit. And then, guys, basically in here we were sitting down, and I was telling the story after talking a lot about bears, about the characters. So it's very nice, and they understood very fast. Homework, guys. It's always important to give them something to do at home. So I asked them to draw and color an alien. I was connecting this with the activity from I Wonder that I was planning for the following week. So I asked them, guys, just draw an alien and color the alien using your favorite color, just 1 color. Also, guys, I asked them to use the app. I showed them how to use the app. I asked them how to do this exercise from the workbook, page number 4, exercise 1. And I asked them to watch the Brown Bear, What Do You See video at home. Basically, this was the first class, and they love it. Now, guys, I always look at the objectives of the class. So, to talk about colors, to talk about numbers and different bears. Improve the students' oral language by asking and answering about their favorite color and favorite bear. Compare and analyze responses. Stimulate the students' concentration, perception, and the habit of watching stories in English, identifying familiar words, and learning new ones. So it's important to have those objectives very clear. Guys, we go to class number 2. During class number 2, I started with a warm-up activity from my Wonder book. It's on page number 8, Hello Unit. So I divided the class into groups. I had a group color and a group number. And I assign a color and a number to it, or a number to each student. So I say, for example, red 5. The student with the corresponding color red. And the corresponding number 5 came to the front of the classroom and present themselves. Hello, I'm 5. Hello, I'm red. And I did that with all the numbers and all the colors. After that, guys, while they were doing it in the worksheet, I was checking the homework individually because I wanted to know if they really understood the colors, if they knew how to use, So I was like, guys, what color is this? It's green, and this, it's purple, and this, it's blah, blah, blah. And what's your favorite color? My favorite color is. So done. I was very happy with the result. The second class, they knew their colors. Then after that, guys, I asked them, remember that I asked them to draw an alien? So I used the alien for this activity, connected to this activity. This activity is from, I Wonder Starter, page number 6, exercise number 2. They have to listen and color. But before I did that, I asked them to elicit the colors. I explained exactly what they have to do. I elicit the numbers. Then they listen and color the activity. Then we checked the answers. And what we did with the aliens, we had an interview. So they interview each other, guys. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is blue. So they had, like, for example, their picture, Melissa's picture. Melissa likes blue. And then we were, I don't have a picture of the poster to show you, but they were creating a poster. They had like the pictures and the favorite colors they have below each picture. And at the end, we analyzed the answers. How many students like blue? How many students like purple? Guys, I can see that it's 10 to 5. So I'm going just to finish explaining a class number 2. And I'm going to show you the final product so I can answer a few questions if you have at the end, okay? Guys, then we had the second part of the class about the brown bear. What we did here, I retold the story. And first of all, I was showing them the animals, asking them to describe. Then they listened to the story and they circled the animals on the worksheet. In here, we have the friends over. It was a different class, and they had a pajamas party. For homework, guys, to finish this lesson, they were supposed to do finger number puppets, use their app, and they were supposed to play a game online about the brown bear, make a mask, and because in the following class, we were like, creating a role play. Again, guys, we had like language objectives, improve the students' language when answering about types of animals and their respective colors, improve the students' language when asking and answering about their favorite colors, improve listening and comprehension by listening, understanding, and answering the questions asked by the teacher. Recognize the words spoken by the teacher during the storytelling, stimulate fine motor coordination by cutting and coloring the mask at home, and to recognize numbers while counting how many kids like each color and how many like the same one. So guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show class number 3, but I thought it would happen. But if you want, I can share with you the slides. I would be very happy to do that. I can talk to you. I can give some tips. I can share with you the entire project. It would be a pleasure. But basically, guys, the only thing, we need to know where you want to go. We need to believe things can happen. We can use the course book. We can adapt it. We can connect it with the stories and create beautiful projects. By the end, guys, we had the final product. I'm going to show you the videos. So we had 2 videos. This is one of them.
Teacher Cassie, what do you see? I see Emily looking at me. Emily? Let's go, guys. What do you see?
Sophia looks at me.
Sophia, come on, guys.
Sophia.
What do you see? Sophia? I see Vicente looking at me. Guys, Vicente, what do you see? I see Valentina Thomas looking at me.
Thomas, what do you see?
I see Emily looking at me.
Very good, guys. Brown, brown, brown. It's a brown bear. It's a brown bear. Red, red, red. It's a red bird. It's a red bird. Thomas, show. Frog, frog, frog. It's a green frog.
It's a green frog.
Fish, fish, fish. It's a goldfish. It's a goldfish.
Yellow.
Yellow, yellow. It's a yellow duck. It's a... Guys, I'm just going to stop here because otherwise we're not going to have time to go through everything. Going back to our slides. I want to show you as well. I feel so happy when I see them dancing and talking. You have no idea. You could see on my face probably. And guys, in here we have the book. So each parent received the book. And Teacher Cassie, what do you see? I see Valentina looking at me. Valentina, what do you see? I see Samuel looking at me. So it's very nice when you see that. And guys, we have started this work with kids a long time ago, with juniors in February this year. And I can tell you that nobody asked to stay home. Parents did not complain, haven't complained so far, I would say. Teachers are more motivated. And students in 6-7 weeks of class, they are so communicative. They are able to use what they learn, and it makes me so happy as a teacher and as a school owner. And this is a feedback of a mom. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the audio, guys, but this is the feedback. Ai, meu Deus. That's the way she said the message, okay? So I'm going to use some intonation. Ai, meu Deus. Meu filho é muito inteligente, então. Obrigada, tá? E olha, não canso de elogiar o método de vocês, tá? Se precisar de uma pessoa para publicar alguma coisa e remarcar, é só me avisar que eu faço com o maior gosto, tá bom? Parabéns, querida, beijo. This child was the one who refused to copy from the board, who said, I don't want to copy, I don't want to do my homework, I don't want to go to class anymore. He comes every week and now he started to study Spanish as well. So guys, if you have questions, we have like 6 minutes. So I'm going to check here. I love teaching kids. I could see like it's done. Now I want to teach kids. I love them. Love. It's amazing. It's a challenge, but it's amazing. I'm going to try to read some of them, guys. If the students have to buy the books, yes. The person asked about the record. We are going to have it later. It's going to be, you can watch it later because, you know, it's going to be saved here. And guys, if you have more questions and if you want to ask me, I'm here to answer them. I just want to show you something as we have a few minutes here. We have like 5 minutes, so I want to show you something. Guys, I told you that they were supposed, class number 2, as a piece of homework, they were supposed to make masks, right? So they did. They made their masks. They are using the masks here. I have different groups, okay? So I try to use different groups' pictures. But they are using the masks. And they also sang the song, told the story using the masks. Another thing, guys, that I asked them to do and was amazing in the 3rd class, but I don't have time to go through everything. We had the story retelling and order recognition. So they had these small circles here with the animals. I cut for them, so we didn't have to spend time doing the cutting in class. And I was telling the story, and they were listening to me choosing the right animal, and placing the animal in the right order. When they finished doing that, they told me the story. I haven't helped them. They did by themselves. So they started. Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Red bird, red bird. So they listened to the story, they placed the animals in the correct order, and they told the story to me without any support. They did that very well. And I have here some pictures to show you of them. They were very concentrated doing the activity. I always try to take pictures, but it's kind of difficult for me because I teach or I take pictures. So sometimes my pictures are not so good and I have to have an assistant to help me. Sometimes, you don't have the assistant every class. Guys, as we have a little bit of time, another thing I want to show you about class number 3 then is that class number three here, that we did a warm-up with numbers because the topic of the book was to study the numbers. And again, I asked them a lot of questions, asked about their favorite number, usually their date of birth or their age. I did an activity to test their memory. I talked about colors and numbers using I Wonder poster. Then, guys, they had an exercise on their book. We played the game, who has number 5? I have number 5. Who has number 6? I have number 6. Something like that. And I gave as a piece of homework, guys, this activity for them. So a week before, I gave this as a piece of homework. So in class, we used the finger puppets and we sang the song, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little rockets, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little rockets. And they love it. They had a lot of fun. And to finish class number 3, guys, for homework, so we had time to do class number 3, I thought we wouldn't. I asked them to do Express Publishing app, as always, to use, to be in touch with the language outside classroom. I Wonder Starter Unit 1, workbook page 5, exercise number 2 and 3. And again, they told me what they had to do. And I also asked them to do this activity online, so they could choose, but most of them do online and on their books. And related to Brown Bear, guys, I did this activity with them. Brown Bear, I Spy, which is an animal count and an online game. And in class number 4, we checked everything and we practiced a lot. And the objectives, guys, were very clear. If we know what we want to do, if we understand the needs of our students, if we have a team that is engaged, we can do a lot. But we need to have those things very clear. And then, guys, I'd like to thank you all for taking part. I'm sorry, I was a little bit nervous and my voice is a little bit strange because I had the cold last week. But thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure being here. And if you want to be in touch with me, guys, that's my mail, Cassiana@bfluentidiomas. At bfluentidiomas.com. Cassiana Cibele, there is a mistake there. It's Cassiana Cibele, I'm sorry, @gmail.com. I don't know what happened there. Then we have the website of my school, bfluentidiomas.com, Facebook, bfluentidiomas, Instagram, bfluentidiomas. And thank you, guys. It was awesome to be here with you. Bye-bye.